Going to live stream. Looks like it's setting up. And so it says we're done. Good. Okay. So we are now live streaming. So let's go right to our agenda, and it starts off with the Pledge of Allegiance. So it's 8:07 here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Okay, terrific.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our Wednesday, March 5th meeting. Made by Jim,
Approve.
seconded by, I guess, can I second the motion? Or Tom can second it? There you go. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll wait for Bill Dyer to join us, unless Teresa, is there anything you want to add to your natural resource manager report about trails? Go free on that if Bill's not here.
If I could just make stuff up, is that what you're saying?
Well,
No.
you're intimately involved with trails. Come on.
I mean, I could give a little bit of a trails report, but you might want to wait for Bill.
Yeah.
You want me to do my
Why
natural
don't you-
resource?
you
No,
go
go
with
ahead and
your
give it
stuff.
the trails report. He knows what time our meeting is. Go ahead and give a trails report.
No, do your stuff
He
first.
can
and
fill
Bill
in.
jumps
I don't
in.
want to.
Bill will jump
He
in.
can fill
And
in.
as a matter of fact, in a timely manner, I am just admitting Bill Dyer. So, no need to jump the gun there.
There you go.
Bill, are you there?
And he's unmuted now. Go ahead, Bill. We just arrived at the Trails Committee report.
Oh, good. Timing's everything, huh?
It is.
Yeah, Bill, they were trying to make me do your trails report.
Ah,
Yeah, we were.
not quick enough. Okay, well, here I am. Okay. Basically, we had two work parties that both were pretty well attended. We're getting some high school kids. We did the Hope Lake kiosk and some other repairs around that area for 1 week. And then 2 weeks later, we did the Silent Water Dam where we replaced a bunch of posts and a bunch of rails. And sooner or later, Jim, that whole thing's going to be replaced. But
Oh,
anyway,
we didn't do it that long ago, did we?
no, 2008, I think it was. So yeah, it should have held up more. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And we still have a mouse problem in the gate in the barn, which it's impacting the gator and whatever. But we're slowly living. We need that black snake that was under
Or
the
you need a
old
kitty
barn.
cat. Kitty cat.
Or a cat. There you go.
I think dryer, those linen sheets for a dryer sometimes.
Yeah, that works.
Too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Put those in the gate.
Anyway, we're planning to do a work party this coming 2 weeks, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, where we're going to try to basically do a trail parallel to Route 108 from the Pine Lake parking area down to the first house, because I honestly think the city should be building a sidewalk there, but anyway, they're not. And so we're going to try to give the high school kids and everybody else a way to get from downtown Shelton up to Pine Lake without stopping traffic, which we've seen happen, where it's at one place, 108 gets very narrow as you go down that hill. So anyway, we flagged out a route that we think we can create, and so we're going to tackle that a week from Saturday.
So that basically would be from Pine Lake, a little bit below the level of 108 as you go towards Plum Library, and then eventually it'll come up towards sidewalk level?
Correct. Right where that first house is on the left as you're going down the hill.
Mhm.
So it's about, I don't know, 500 feet, something in that nature.
Yeah, a little more, but yeah.
And you get
And it
down,
helps tie in the rec path, the long-term goal of linking up these multi-use paths with, sidewalk, better sidewalks and so forth.
Great. Anything else,
uh,
Bill?
well, nothing about a trails grant program. And given the way the federal government's canceling everything, I'm not holding out a lot of hope that that's going to make it through the state, but we'll see. And I think, yeah, we've got a Boy Scout that's going to do some work up at French's Hill, and this will be our 36th Eagle Scout project. So
Wow, good.
Wow.
it's impressive.
All right.
Bill, that's just city ones, or does that include land trust ones?
No, there's 20 land trust ones also.
So, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
So like well over 50 on the trails in Shelton.
Correct. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And every
That's great.
kiosk in town, and some of those were done, like for the garden committee. So there are a few others that are sort of not part of, but it's an impressive list.
All right. Sherry is now going to be joining us, but Teresa, why don't you, unless there's anything else, Bill, is that it?
No, I think it's fine, or I'll chip in if I think of anything else for
Sure.
trails, but go ahead.
Teresa, have a,
Okay. For trails, like Bill said, I went out and flagged routes at for the Curtis Brook. We're calling it the Curtis Brook Connector, just while we're working on it. And also at Bone Pond, there's some people in the neighborhood off of Cornhill Road who have been asking for an access trail over to the Bone Pond trails, and so I went and flagged a possible route for that. Again, I've been monitoring the DEP and the State Bonding Commission, and they had a meeting scheduled for March 28. I was hopeful that they would approve the bonding for the recreational trails grant, and they canceled their meeting again. So we're going to wait for another month to see. I've been compiling more of the trails minutes and logs and so forth, and it's really been an eye-opening experience, but making good progress there. The litter committee, we've got clean sweep is gearing up. It's this month, so if anybody wants to do a cleanup project, go to the don'ttrashshelton.org website and sign up for that. We've got patches and all that. We did get, for a long time, I kept reporting that we just didn't have anybody on the committee. And just over the last year, we've been getting more and more people. And just last week, we got 2 more people who are very, very interested in joining. And if they're appointed, we're going to be back up to our original membership roster of 11 members.
Yay!
It hasn't been that high since the committee was formed in, I don't even remember what year that was, like 2009 or something.
Wow.
Awesome.
11 members. So that's a really big help. And I hope that we're going to start making some better progress, because we were really just barely treading water for years there. Most of our meetings were canceled and so forth. So that's pretty neat. For the community gardens, we did have 5 plots open up this year at Long Hill, which is very unusual. One of those plots was divided into 2, so we were able to get 6 new gardeners in. So that's nice to know. I met with staff from the Stratford Health Department today at Long Hill Garden, because they think they're getting a grant, except that it was awarded, but they haven't received it yet, but it's coming from the feds, so who knows. But to open a community garden, he was looking for tips, so that was fun. And Eklund Garden, I have not even been to, but I did have a friend that went over, and It's a mess. It needs a lot of work. The deer fence is down. I gotta get to that. In the meantime, I've been going over to Birchbank Mountain. The Dutchman's Breeches are coming up, and so is the garlic mustard. So I've been busy trying to pull that and get some help pulling that. Ellen from the Trails Committee came out and helped me yesterday to try to get ahead of that, because if that stuff isn't pulled, all the big fields of Dutchman's breeches, we'd just lose it all. It'd all just be gone. It would be nothing but invasive plants.
I saw your mention of that in your newsletter. I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
nice that you presented. So
Thank you. All right, that's all I have. It's now my busy time. Everything's juggling a lot of balls.
Everybody's busy time.
Right.
about it.
Well, I
Fine.
mean, during the winter, sometimes I can go for days without getting a single phone call, like
Oh.
in January. And then, but as soon as it's, spring, then, people look outside and now they see a tree.
Well, Shelton
they
goes to
consider-
Florida in January, so we all know that.
Well,
Teresa, you mentioned that there was the openings that were filled. I believe that the demand for plots at the community garden is still greater than what you have available. There's a waiting list still.
Oh, yeah, these people got on the list in 2022.
3 years. Wow.
Yep.
like Highland used to be.
Fire sale.
Okay, and nothing else then, Teresa?
That's it for me.
Okay. Looking down the next agenda items, there's a number of planning and zoning applications that I put on there. Some of them are just to remind us of things, but the one that I'll jump right down to is on 390 Shelton Avenue, the 830G application. That was accepted and they started their public hearing process. That is a separate application than the PDD on that parcel of land, which asked for 16 homes and did receive approval. And in that approval, the water line and the sewer line would access from Route 108 and not violate the city's open space that was dedicated from Aspetuck. But in the same parcel for the 830G application, the applicant indicated that he would access the water through there. So the commissioners of planning and zoning were a little perturbed at that with their comments saying, hey, we just approved a PDD on this parcel by the same entity, and that PDD, you were going to access it on the up to 108, and now you're telling us you're not going to bother doing that. So that is still in process. Our letter that we wrote for the 830G application regarding the violation of open space being not to be assumed was received and is on their Google Drive.
Good.
The big development in town, not that there's really a lot of open space aspects to it, but there is an environmental condition of the brook, is on 48 Long Hill Crossroads. It's really on Bridgeport Avenue. That's the Texas Roadhouse and the Dairy Queen and the hotel and so
Yeah,
on.
and everything.
They have cleared all the trees from the site now. So when I go up Long Hill
yeah.
Crossroads on my way home from Bridgeport Ave, it's pretty dramatic.
Very.
Jerry, that's your neck of the woods for work, and I'm sure you've
Right
seen
across the street. It's
a
so
lot of
sad.
activity there. Yeah, it was always going to be developed, I know, but it's pretty dramatic to see the change. But that did get approved by planning and zoning. So their initial site development plans of a PDT being a two-part process. The next part will be the detailed development plans, and they'll be moving forward with that. There was a zoning regs amendment for an affordable age-restricted development. Initially it was going to apply like an overlay zone, like an SDA on Route 108, Route 110, Bridgeport Ave. They refined it a little bit to be parcels within a certain band of size, greater than a certain amount and less than a certain amount within those corridors, and it created somewhere around 8, I believe, parcels that would be eligible for this deed new zoning regulation. And so that public hearing has continued. Not really that it impacts us too much, but with the design residential district, which hasn't been used that much. I don't know how much this affordable age-restricted residential development will be used either, but obviously somebody's proposing it with the intent of using it on certain parcels. Again, using PDD for residential development on Todd Road. This is near the veterinarian practice near Pro Tire. 89 units of 55 plus multifamily residential is been uploaded to the Google Drive. Technically not accepted for review by the planning and zoning to schedule a public hearing. But I just put it on there for everybody to be aware. There's as you know, with PDDs, there's no open space dedication for the development of those parcels. So, and then on 118 Armstrong Road, an 830G affordable housing development, 41 units on 2.1 acres. So the P&Z accepted it at their March 19th meeting for review and public hearing. Typically with 830G applications, there's no open space dedication. It's not being subdivided. But
Where is that in relation to the Route 8 bridge that goes over it? Which side of the?
so it would be on the eastern side of Route 8, and it would be on the northern side of Armstrong Road. It is next to a parcel of land that has a UI substation, and it is across the street from the Cranberry Bog. So I'm not sure how an 830G zone change within 500 feet of adjacent municipality. There's some notifications has to take place. There was an application for this, a PDD application for this particular parcel a while back. That was then subsequently withdrawn. So this is a new application. Again for 830G, which we all know has the ability to overrun your local zoning regs. Speaking of 830G, since I've mentioned it twice, there was an article in today's Connecticut Post. The town of Fairfield has received a moratorium on 830G applications based that they have reached a certain level of points to qualify for I think it's a 4-year moratorium. So similar to what New Canaan was able to achieve and some others down in southwest Fairfield County area. Shelton is not near that level, unfortunately. Then I just noticed there's an article in the New Haven Register today, but I noticed it was uploaded to the Google Drive over on Constitution and We Boss It. Similar to the application that was withdrawn a couple months ago, combining several parcels that are various zones to be all an R3 zone, and then apply a design residential development to that acreage for about 20 units. So it's not been accepted yet by the P&Z Commission to review and schedule public hearings, but just putting it on the agenda since we'll be probably commenting on a letter on it, similar to what we did on the prior application, which was very similar. In terms of the budget that we submitted to the mayor, he utilized our proposal. So our budget for next year, if all goes well, will be fine and dandy. Open space trust account still has a negative balance in it. And while I have the floor, I guess I'll say that there's a couple items that I brought to Teresa's attention during the past month. Just there was some City of Derby Public Works trucks that were bringing fill to a location that is adjacent to city open space up in White Hills. I reached out to somebody in Derby to find out where this material was coming from. I didn't have any success yet. So, Teresa, did you get to visit the site yet, or?
No,
Okay.
I haven't actually been on the site. I know the site where you're talking about. I did ask my husband, since he's in that field, about something like that, and he says it actually happens all the time. If the city of Derby has some material to sell, that the developers know about it and purchase it.
Yeah, I mean,
delivered.
this is a rear flag lot that was purchased fairly recently and construction done fairly recently. And so by all intents and purposes, it looks like it's some sort of materials to provide a base for their long rear driveway. But it is adjacent
Yeah,
to open
they
space,
probably
so,
need, they may need, material for septic as well.
yeah, possibly there too. It's not making any conjectures. It's just that it's adjacent to city open space, so. Also, I had Teresa go out to 390 Shelton Avenue and flag the boundary between the city open space and the development parcel, since
Good,
I
yeah.
had been notified by an adjacent neighbor that they saw some tree clearing contractors getting prepared out there.
Six wood ducks while I was out there.
Oh, cool.
Dean Cawthron reports that there are a mating set of hawks on the property, which he's had DEP notify that nothing can be done to that particular tree until it's
Where
there
is that? On 390?
on 390.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Somewhat related to, well, I guess I don't have any quality of life items to discuss, Teresa, so that I'm aware of at the moment. So we'll jump right into comments by members, unless anybody has any questions on any of those applications that are in process at P and Z. Again, there's really nothing for us to act on at the moment, but
Well, do we filed as an intervener on that Bridgeport Avenue parcel?
we
Have
did.
we gotten any correspondence from anybody
We have
relevant?
not.
No,
Haven't. Okay. Might be too early yet.
They did receive WPCA approval to relocate the sewer line that's at the upper part of the property, comes out of Hawks Ridge, and then goes down towards the pump station that's near the Crown Point development area. But they have not received approval for connecting to the
Yeah.
the sewer treatment system, which is another. I guess we'll jump into comments by members. I've had some people who are on the Housatonic River pretty much every day reach out to me regarding their concerns about the quality of the river water from pretty much the sewer treatment plant south. So they have contacted the DEP, who has been out there and visited their location, and that's about as much as I would want to say at the moment. So
Yeah, I have contacts that have said the same thing.
they've got video of effluent coming into the river at nighttime, and having lived on the river all their lives, are concerned about some of the impacts they see on vegetation. So, but the parties that would deal with that, they have reached out to and are investigating it. So, but since we are the environmental conscious of the community, it's something that I just want to bring to your attention. So, that's, I guess, my comment by member. I'll go to the right on my box. Teresa, do you have anything to add?
if anybody wants to learn how to pull garlic mustard, I can set you up.
Yeah.
I
Is it
get to
edible?
that, I get to that point where I close my eyes and I just see garlic mustard.
Is it an edible product? Like you can make a pesto out of it or something?
Yep, you can. I think I think that's one of the ones that was originally brought to the Americas from Europe as a pot herb for cooking.
Aren't
Interesting.
you supposed to limit how much you have though? Like it has something in it.
It could have like oxalic acid or something like that.
Yeah, like there's something in it, like only limit yourself a little a month or
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
oh,
don't be eating it like all the time. Yeah, I'll find
No worries
I,
there,
I don't
Lisa.
think you'd want to be eating this all the time anyway.
no, and you wouldn't, yeah.
Does it keep werewolves away? Is it as good as regular garlic?
You definitely are smelling it when you pick it. You definitely get that. It does smell very garlicky.
Interesting.
It's in the mustard family, so it's cabbage family, mustard.
So once you pull it out, Teresa, it's out by the root and it's done?
Yeah,
Or,
it's a biennial plant, so it grows for 2 years. Once you pull it out by the root, it is done, but it's superpower like it's more like an annual, really. The annual invasive plants, their superpower is they make a bazillion seeds. So the trick to it is you have to pull it out before it goes to seed. And because the seeds are viable for 5 to 10 years, you
Wow.
have to like religiously pull it out from an area for 5 to 10 years.
wow.
And that's what I've been doing over at Birchbank. And in the areas where I started, like the core area, you could tell there's just a lot less coming up now than when I first started doing it. But now I kind of get into the more periphery areas where I haven't been pulling it out as long and along the trail. Yep.
That's a
Lisa
lot.
shared a link for.
Yeah, it's from actually I know him, Jim Search. He used to work at Yale Peabody and he has a blog. And that's where I heard about you could eat it, but there's something I'm just skimming it right now to see what it is that's in it that you shouldn't eat it like too much. But if you
A
want
lot
more
of
info,
times
it's there. Yeah.
it might be oxalic acid because that is one thing in some of these wild plants that are like that does tend to come up in multiple species where you can eat a little bit of it. And it's actually true of some stuff you buy in the store too, that some plants do have, and they might be in the mustard family. I forget.
Oh.
If you have a little bit, it's fine, but if you have way too much, it might not.
Everything in moderation, they say, right?
Absolutely.
However, the American way is more.
Well, Sherry, you're next on my box, so if you want to comment on more, go at it.
I don't have any comments tonight. I think because I just scrambled in from work, but nice seeing everybody.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely.
How about you, Bill?
No, I guess I'm all set.
How about you, Tom?
I'm all set too, except Teresa, I may take you up on taking up some garlic for you.
Woohoo!
Contact you. It's one of my favorite trails, so I'll talk to you about
All
it.
right.
Oh, that's good.
High school
Jimbo.
kids, you can bring some high school kids with you.
Well, there is a
Not
point
allowed
when
within-
it's okay.
They'll
So
be
right
productive.
now it's delicate and they'll screw it up.
Oh
They'll
boy.
be they'll be stomping all over the Dutchman's breeches, and then they won't be pulling up. They'll be pulling up the wrong plants, and when they pull up the certain one, they won't pull up the root, and it'll just come right back, and so nothing would have been accomplished. So
I
when it
love the
gets to
Dutchman
be-
breeches. They're so pretty.
when it gets to be in a couple of weeks, there will come a point where the breeches will be starting to die back, and the garlic mustard, whatever's left, will be just shooting up, bolting, as they call it. And at that point, it's easier it's obvious which plants are garlic mustard. And you don't have to worry about crushing the Dutchman's breeches so much because they're dying back anyway. So at that point, I can definitely use high school kids. But at that point, it also, the trade-off is if you pick it at that point, you almost have to bag it or something, because if it's starting to flower, even after you pull it, if you put it in a pile, those flowers will form into seeds and be
Yeah.
viable.
Yeah.
Jimbo, you're the last one, right in the middle here.
Oh boy. No, I really have no comment. Getting busy springtime, busy. You're not busy as a landscape architect now. You're probably never busy.
True.
Take down your shingle, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably coming sooner than later rather than later. So we'll
Um,
see. Not quite yet.
as the weather improves, I'm hoping that we could meet in person again. So
Meet at the
Teresa,
barn.
if
Well,
maybe the barn. I know we met at some open space parcels. So if there's anything you have in mind like that, make a
yeah, that'd be a good
recommendation
idea.
before next month. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Go down the Riverwalk, have Pete's party.
yeah,
there you go. That's
that's a
an
good
easy
Got
idea.
some new
one.
monuments down there you should see at some point.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that idea. Let's do that
Yeah.
then. The river
Yeah.
walk, and then we can go to
Yeah.
Pier 131 or something that's close by to that.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
make
good.
it a full evening if we want.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
I think
I'm
it's
game.
funny.
Let's
Well,
do
it's
it.
gonna be, I guess I do have a comment. I guess I should celebrate. The there is the veterans are looking to there's destination spot history, some points of interest down at the Riverwalk. We're trying to develop them into really like brass plaques and topics of interest as you walk down the Riverwalk. And as the mayor always has asked, that the Riverwalk become a destination. So one of the items that is going to be is looking at right now, it has to do with Echo Hose and a some type of, I don't want to say memorial, some kind of
tribute.
significant element there that will talk about the BF Goodrich fire and
Hmm.
why the Riverwalk,
Oh,
developed the way it did.
oh,
So,
clever.
yeah, so, there are lots of ideas on how this little, what this is going to be made of. One of them is actually to take one of the the fire hats that were appropriate at that time and incorporate that into the monument. I don't know how we do that quite, but there always is like before and after photo type things that we can put into the brass plaques and the laser etch them in and stuff. So that's being developed, and you'll see maybe at the next meeting, you'll see how that's coming along. And there's a lot of people that have input into it and review. So, but we're trying to get something like that together for the fall.
Nice.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm sorry, were you done, Jim? As I,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
not that I always have my Rotary hat on, but probably we might be better off waiting to June. Well, because that first week, the flags will be up for Flags for Heroes. And it really looks nice in the evening down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. June would
Yeah,
be
I like
good.
that.
May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'll just add, since Jim's talking about the Riverwalk and memorials and whatnot, I was 2 weekends ago, I was down in Washington, D.C. My nephew's going to school
Yeah.
down there,
They do it
and we spent the Sunday afternoon walking around all the monuments and the memorials and stuff. Went over to the Kennedy Center, and which was closed. It was the evening they were doing the Mark Twain Award with Conan O'Brien and stuff. But it was very interesting to look at the different, like everybody knows the Vietnam Memorial and but the World War II Memorial and obviously the Lincoln Memorial, and just how different designers approached what they were memorializing. But at the Kennedy Center, there was a new addition to it that my nephew, who has spent a fair bit of time on Cape Cod in the summers because that's where his mom is from, he remarked that, gee, look at these building materials, with the kind of grasses and the gravel sand, and he says this reminds him of like the Cape Cod beaches. And I said that's probably not by accident. So
Totally not.
it was also brought to my mind. I took a couple photos of it. Bill has often talked about the river walk, being able to be on the river And there was a walkway right along the Potomac that they had to do some pretty good engineering to go over the highway and bring it towards the Kennedy Center and stuff. So it's not that difficult to accomplish, to creatively get a pedestrian walkway from a difficult spot to a difficult spot. So,
I agree.
Bill.
Uh,
well,
by the way, are they going to have a sort of a thank you note for the guy that started the fire at the BF Goodrich? Because if he didn't do it, it would still be a.
Yeah, you're right.
That
How about that?
that comment would not have been popular 40 years ago.
Right, I agree
A
with that.
lot of people lost their jobs
Put a lot of
overnight.
people out of work.
Overnight.
yeah.
Their whole livelihood. Downtown turned into, Tom, you must remember it. Oh my God, it was
I do.
it was like a war zone.
I
75.
do. I had a neighbor. He was behind my parents' house, who worked there all his life, and overnight, like you say, lost his job.
Yeah, and
And
my dad was one of the firemen, and I remember he was down there for
Wow.
like I think 3 days. He came home and his beard was all like frozen from the. It was crazy. It was so funny because growing up, I think I was 14 when that happened, but some of the older people who were 20, they were remembering like when JFK got shot, like they remember, like Andy, my husband.
Yeah.
My husband was across the river at the river restaurant, and they heard the explosion or whatever. Wherever he was on the other side of the river. It was a restaurant, but I remember him, like it was a memory that he would be like, nobody could imagine what had just happened because they just heard this explosion, and I can't imagine how loud it was.
Well, for me, there were three aspects for me. One is like my neighbor worked there, and so he was out of a job immediately. And my dad helped him out by commissioning him to build a dining room table. He was a great woodworker, and he
Oh,
made a beautiful hutch for all my parents' china and Waterford crystal and stuff, and a big dining room table, and made some other shelves in the house and stuff. And when we sold my parents' house, the people we reached out to were his grandchildren to say, look, because nobody wants a hutch and a dining room table that's that colonial kind of look anymore. So we reached out to them and said, hey, we've got some furniture here that your grandfather made. We'd love to see if you want it. You're welcome to have it. And they were
wow.
very grateful for that. But so that's why item one. Item two is that his clock, he worked whatever morning shift, he could not change his body clock. So he was up, early in the morning at the same time he'd been up for years, and you go down to that coffee shop on Howe Avenue
Yeah.
and get a coffee and stuff. And then the third thing I'll say is that the company my dad started, we started at 93 Canal Street, which is kind of across the street from where the farmers market is. And that was one of the few buildings not impacted by the BF Goodrich fire.
Yeah.
But looking out over that empty wasteland for years and years,
Yeah.
I'm pretty familiar with the spot. So,
The J
it'd be great to
Diner
be down there with
closed.
the flags. That was pretty nice last year. I caught it at sunset. So, good idea. All right, with nothing else, we are adjourned in under an hour yet again. So,
Nice job.
Good night,
right, folks.
everyone.
Right.
Good
Night.
night.
Bye.